Okay, hello and welcome. This is the first video of what I plan to be a series of videos kind of cataloging, documenting my journey into and back into martial arts. The intent is to give people a picture of what it looks like to get involved in martial arts, approaching middle age, in your late 30s. I'll be 37 in a couple days. I've recently started taking Goju-ryu karate, a traditional Okinawan style of karate. I've had some martial arts training experience in the past, a little bit, I've kind of dabbled. Boxing lessons for a while. I did some Tung Sudo related stuff, mostly online. I studied Gracie Jiu-Jitsu for about 3 years, on and off. I didn't live too close to the gym for a long time, so it was hard to get there. So progress was slow. But I've been a big fan of martial arts my whole life. I've done a lot of just kind of training and stuff on my own, rudimentary stuff. But just a few months ago I got involved in the Goju-ryu karate school nearby. My son had been taking lessons there for about a year. He's 4 now, and I just like the school. I like the vibe. I like the instructor. It's very close by, so I decided to really make an effort and devote some time and see how far I could actually go, because like I say, I've dabbled in a little bit even Sansu Kung Fu and Taekwondo briefly, and a little bit of karate. Just over the years, when I'd move around, I'd try a different school for a short while, and nothing ever really stuck. When I was in the Army was when I did the Kung Fu Sansu stuff with a squad leader of mine. Another guy that I was in the Army with taught karate. I did stuff with him for a little while, but none of it ever really stuck. I was either too young, or it wasn't in the location for long enough, or what have you. But now I'm here. I really want to kind of give this a shot, see how far it goes, catalog it, record it. I don't know why. I just feel like it's something that I kind of want to do. Might be helpful to people, I don't know, or interesting at least. Another reason I kind of wanted to do this is, I mentioned I was in the Army. I was deployed to Iraq many years ago, 2004 to 2005. I was an infantry soldier. Got home, had some, trouble readjusting, depression, anxiety, PTSD, whatever you want to call it, and then started doing jiu-jitsu. And prior to when I started training in jiu-jitsu, I'd had a long time, several months of just a lot of anxiety and a little bit of depression stuff, but just very anxious most of the time, to the point that I didn't even recognize it anymore. I was anxious so much of the time that I didn't even realize that I was anxious anymore. That had kind of become my baseline. I started doing jiu-jitsu, and the first time I went to class, I left out of there, and it was like this weight had just been lifted off my shoulders and off my chest. I felt like I'd been wearing one of those lead vests that you wear when you get an x-ray, and it had finally been taken off. And it really got me thinking about some of the intangible or non-physical benefits to martial arts training. I'd had the thought, this was 3 or 4 years ago, about starting a podcast about, specifically about martial arts and the mental health benefits associated with training in martial arts. It was all gung-ho for a while. Never really got it off the ground. I quickly started to feel like, before I even started, that I would not have enough things to talk about for a recurring podcast on a regular basis. So I kind of just gave up before I even started. I started taking karate lessons a few months back, and because of all the prior training and a little bit of experience I had, my instructor, the sensei, he could tell that even though I was a white belt, I was a beginner. I'd had some experience. Like, you could just kind of tell, like, I knew how to move around a little bit, and because of some of the Tung Sudo stuff I'd done, I knew a little bit about kicks, more than somebody coming into their first class ever probably would. And like I say, just kind of training some Muay Thai kickboxing stuff on my own in my basement on the heavy bag. So different instructors remarked a few times about how I was doing well, I guess, for somebody brand new to that school and to karate in general. And so after I'd been there maybe only 2 or 3 months, I got invited to grade. They grade, I guess, quarterly, it seems like. And they invited me to grade for a belt test, which I did not expect. I was flattered. And I thought I would go from a white belt to the next belt up, which is a white and yellow belt. And then I found out, like, the day before the test, I was at class, and Sensei pulled me aside and said he's going to jump me up a couple cues or levels. So, long story short, went to the testing class, and we all did our things. A lot of exercise and some katas and a little bit of bungai, which is like one-step kind of controlled sparring things. And then came time for the belt handouts, the actual promotions, and he jumped me up from white and skipped me over 2 belts. There's a white, a yellow, and then an orange, and he promoted me all the way to orange. He skipped me over those 2 other belts, and said something about, if somebody has the skill and putting the work in and taking it serious enough, I guess, he's gonna promote them, reward them commensurately. So I got promoted to orange belt rather quickly. I was pretty excited. This is my basement. There's my heavy bag. This is basically the extent of my martial arts training facility. Oh, and so the other thing, I signed up to be on a competition team. Apparently the sensei, he's not big into tournament stuff these days. It's not something the school typically does, but just recently they decided to start getting involved in tournaments again, competitions, and asking who in the school would like to take part. I was brand new at the time, but competing in martial arts is something I've never done and I've always wanted to do, so I signed up for that. So that's where we do some pretty realistic sparring. So there's a journey towards this competition, where I'll be doing some kata performance, I think, or demonstration, and some live sparring, free sparring, kumite, like point fighting, but be my first foray. So my thought is, do some of these kind of point karate tournaments. That goes well. Maybe find a place to do more of a full contact, free form kind of kickboxing type thing. Maybe if I can get my grappling back under control, if I have time to work that into my schedule. Maybe do a jiu-jitsu tournament or 2. And then if everything is working well enough and coming together well enough, I would like to do an MMA fight. I know that sounds crazy for a 37 unathletic, out of shape nerd trying to get in a cage and fight. It sounds crazy, but that's what I'm thinking about doing. So this is the voyage I'm embarking upon, and you're invited to come along. I'm really excited about this training, and in as part of this school, they focus a lot on character development, outside things, goal setting. One of the packets had asked us to come up with a black belt goal, not the goal of being a black belt, but just kind of a lofty, big goal that you would like to achieve. And for a while I couldn't think of anything. I couldn't come up with anything. And then it occurred to me, why don't I do this? Why don't I make this my goal, to record and catalog my journey into martial arts, back into martial arts, as a moderately middle-aged kind of guy. So, summary, I'm a few months in and a couple belt ranks into my journey into Okinawan Goju-Ryu Karate. So that's the long and the short of it. Mostly the long of it. You're invited to come along. This is the voyage I'm embarking on. And if you find it at all helpful, useful, interesting, I'd love for you to come along. Until next time, thanks a lot.